Hello everyone, my name is Alexa and welcome to my channel. I have been wanting to make a channel for a good amount of time now and decided just to give it a go. So a little about me, I am a student athlete majoring in business, but some of my other hobbies include working out, traveling, food, reading, puzzles, bullet journaling, etc. But I thought it would be a good idea for my first video to share my soccer journey with you. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I first started soccer in 3rd grade, which I know is kind of late for soccer, but I was not very an athletic kid. So my best friend at the time convinced me to join soccer, and I'm so glad she did. I fell in love with it. I played 2 years of rec, and it was called Magic. And what's funny is my dad actually coached the rec team my second year, and he knew nothing about soccer, but I'm so grateful that he did. In 5th grade, I tried out for the club team, and then I made the C team, I guess, so the 3rd team. Actually, my coach was a neighborhood dad. But yeah, I played mostly defense and a little bit of goalie, and I was just super motivated. I was on that team for 2 years before I moved up to the 2nd team in 7th grade. I was so pumped, and the coach moved me into midfield, and I just really liked it. My second year on the 2nd team, our team was super good, but then COVID happened that spring season. But however, the pandemic was super beneficial for me. That was kind of around the time I realized that I wanted to play soccer in college. So I practiced or worked out every single day during the pandemic. And then we didn't have club tryouts in 2020, so I had no way to show the coaches that I had improved. So I was just put back on the 2nd team. However, that fall season, so that was actually my freshman year, but the fall club season was rough because our practices were no contact because we had a social distance, and then games we wore masks, and then the coach and I just didn't really see eye to eye. So I just knew that I really wanted to work hard to make it on the first team the next year. I should also mention that throughout this time I did multiple University of Wisconsin camps because I live very close to the campus. And then also in August, before my freshman year, I decided to take a risk and I tried out for the Wisconsin ODP team. I really did not think I was going to make it. I just wanted to challenge myself. But to my surprise, I made the pool, which basically meant I was just able to practice with a ton of girls around Wisconsin in the winter in between club and high school. So that was really nice. I really enjoyed that. And then once again in April, I was even more surprised when I found out I made the state representative team. So that meant we went to a regional tournament, but it would be in June. But just because of that boost of accomplishment, I guess, and all the work I'd been putting in, I went into high school with tryouts. I wouldn't say cocky, but I definitely felt confident that I was gonna make varsity as a freshman. But sadly, when the time came, the varsity coach told me that I was one of the last players to be cut from varsity. I still to this day think I should have made varsity. I was just as good as all the players, but honestly, my JV year was probably my most fun high school soccer experience. I learned a lot of patience because the JV teams were equal talent, so there was no A and B. So I was playing with a lot of players that hadn't even played soccer before. It was their first time touching a ball. So I learned a lot of patience and leadership skills. and just had a lot of fun playing for JV my freshman year. But once again, when club tryouts came, I worked really hard and thought I had a good chance of making the A team. But somehow had an inkling that if for some reason I didn't make the A team, I wanted to have a backup. However, when I was researching club teams, I realized the majority of the club teams were not close to where I lived. So I convinced my parents to have me try out for this club team that was about an hour and a half away, just in case I didn't make the A team. The only thing about club tryouts, though, is that just like college ID camps, they're all the same week. And so I went to the first 2 days, so I went to the 2 days of tryouts for my current club team. And then the next day I went to the third day of tryouts for the second team the new team I was trying out for. And so I hadn't gone to the first 2 days of tryouts. So I was just throwing it up there, hoping I would make it. So a week or so later, when the emails went out, I found out that I had made that team that I tried out for literally just 1 day. But again, I knew it was only my backup. However, when I found out the next day that I did not make the A team, I was so, shocked, but also just devastated. And I knew right away that I just couldn't go back to the B team. I wanted to keep pushing myself, especially because I knew I wanted to play in college. So with a lot of talking among my parents and I, we made the decision for me to go to this other club team. However, it was a really hard decision because not only was it farther away, so it would be a lot of driving, I couldn't drive yet because I was only 15, so that was a hard decision. And then also it was more expensive. So it was more expensive and we would be paying more for gas, obviously. But luckily my parents just knew how much I love the sport and wanted to help support me. It was pretty nerve-wracking though because I only knew just a few girls, and knew is putting it very lightly. I just knew them from the ODP I had done, but they already knew other people on the team, so I was kind of alone from my area. However, my Mimi truly helped me so much during that first year. She was the one who drove me to almost all the practices, and she'd pick me up from school with food in her car. Then we'd drive to practice while I was either doing homework or even just on my phone. Then after practice, she'd have more food for me. And it was just truly a miracle. I don't know how I can thank her for all that she did for me. But anyways, for my new club, I played forward. So at this point, I played every single position. That fall is when I first started sending out college emails to coaches and making some highlight videos. I'm a very type A person, so I made this long Google Doc of all the colleges I thought maybe I'd want to go to, and just kept adding a ton of information throughout my entire high school. So this was my sophomore year. So when the high school tryouts for soccer came around again, I was very nervous just because of how last year panned out. But luckily I did make varsity, and in our first scrimmage, I was the only non-returner to start in that game. And so that boosted my confidence a lot. However, my playing time slowly just simmered down as the season went on. And so I got fewer minutes and didn't really know why. And I also did not even score a single goal that season. So that was a little hard for me. But then I did ODP again that second year. And so then when we went to the regional tournament, I actually got COVID while we were there. And so that was frustrating because I really obviously wanted to play. And my mom and I had to drive all the way back to Wisconsin while I was sick. So that was not fun. But then to make it even crazier, that was in June, so I missed club tryouts. And so that just makes it very nerve-wracking because I couldn't prove myself. And they hadn't seen me play since obviously January before high school season started. How my new club works is that there's two teams. One plays in the Girls Academy League, and then the other is a B team. But it plays in the same league as the A team for that club that's closer to me. So hopefully that makes sense. But basically, I was on the B team, but it was equivalent to the A team at the other club that I played for earlier in my youth career. So anyways, however, I found out that my age group wasn't going to have enough players for 2 teams. Basically, they were only going to have the GA team. But luckily, the coaches were nice enough and they offered for me and a couple other players to move up an age group and play with their second team. And so again, that was super out of my comfort zone, but I didn't really have another option, especially because I couldn't have even tried out for another team because I was sick. But so yeah, I took the chance and decided to play up an age group for my junior year of high school. But again, it did work out for me because I could drive now, and then also there were 3 other girls from the Madison area that could drive with me to the practices, which was super nice, so I didn't have to drive every single time. I should also mention that I loved my ODP experience, but majority of the girls on the team kind of were talking about not trying out again, and so I just knew that if I tried out again, it wouldn't have been as a competitive as an environment, so I just decided to not do ODP that year. But anyways, during club, I was definitely feeling a lot of pressure to commit because all my teammates, especially because they were a year older, were all already committed or just committing now. And I honestly was not getting almost any responses from coaches. If any, I would just get a very generic one that kind of seemed like they were sending out to multiple people. So once my junior high school season came around, it was again a roller coaster of emotions. I did score a brace for my first 2 varsity goals, so that was really a nice feeling. And then for high school, I played midfield my entire career, I guess. But once again, I was very relieved when the season ended just because I did enjoy club season more. Throughout that summer, I went to a lot of ID camps, multiple different states. My parents were really nice and drove me to a ton of different ones. And then also whenever my family would travel, I would drag them to whatever campus was nearby just because I wanted to see what it would look like, and maybe I would have the potential of going there. So I definitely have gone to more colleges than the average person, especially for my age. But anyways, so for senior year club, obviously all the players I'd been playing with that year had moved on and gone to college. However, all my carpool buddies also had gone to college, so I wasn't able to carpool with them anymore. But luckily, a new girl had joined the club from my area, so we were able to carpool, which was super nice. And then my age group went back to having 2 teams. However, once again, though, during my senior club season, I was just very stressed out because I had no idea where I was going to be the following year. No idea for college. And when I first started the recruitment process, I really thought I was going to go D1 or D2 right off the bat. However, obviously, as time went on, I realized I needed to look at more options. So I started sending emails to D3 schools and then even junior colleges. I think I had 1 call D1, 2 calls for D2, 2 for D3, and then 3 for junior college. Okay, so at the end of my club season, I had gotten in contact with this junior college in Michigan, and at the end of January, my dad and I decided to drive on over and take a tour of the school with some of the girls on the team and the coach. And my dad and I were just very surprised. The girls were super nice, and the school was honestly nicer than we thought it would be. And so that night, my dad and I talked a lot about my recruitment process and what I thought my college experience would look like. And we just thought that this school was the best option for me. And so February 1st of my senior year, I decided to commit to Delta College, which is in Michigan. It truly lifted such a weight off my shoulders because now I knew I was going to college for soccer, and all that work and grind had helped me achieve that goal. Anyways, if you've caught a theme by now, I did not particularly enjoy my high school soccer experience, even though I loved my high school teammates. So my senior season, although very bittersweet because it was the end of my youth career, I was mostly just looking forward to college and looking on what I could do to improve to come into Delta strong. I moved into Delta at the end of July of last year. And looking back, I'm surprised I wasn't as nervous as I was. I knew absolutely not a single girl. And I was moving to a brand new state all by myself. But I think, honestly, I was just so excited. As the season started, it was so fun getting to know all my teammates. We just had such a close bond. But I truly have never been on a fully winning team before, so it was definitely fun to come into Delta and win every single game here. So a little background of our season last season. We went undefeated, we won our conference, and then we won our region. And then that sent us to the national tournament, which was in New York. And we were the number 1 seed. We ended up winning the tournament, and once again, all of my soccer career, I haven't even had a trophy or won anything, so it was so incredible to win national championship, especially because it was my freshman year of college. My current goal is to play my sophomore fall season here at Delta and then transfer to an NCAA school to continue playing. I truly love the sport of soccer so much, and I just want to play as long as I can. And then I also just want to say that I would not be where I am today without my parents, my Mimi, my sister, all my family. They truly have done so much for me, and I'm just so grateful. Lastly, I also want to say, if you get anything out of my long soccer journey up to this point, is that what you think may be setbacks might actually be miracles in disguise. Another piece of advice I would have is getting out of your comfort zone truly helps you improve. Otherwise, you're just stuck in this little box. So obviously going to a community college was not what I thought I would do, especially when I started my recruitment process. However, I'm so glad I did, because not only was I able to win a national championship my freshman year, but I also played in every single game. And I know that if I went to a 4-year school, that would not have happened. So I'm just super grateful for that and can't wait to continue my journey and sharing it here on YouTube. So thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I'm excited to share my journey. Thank you.